their leaders out. And it needs to come from them. The world cannot do it for them. They need to wake up and stop buying the lies. They need to realize they are being used as puppets in the hands of a corrupt leadership. And they need to kick that leadership out and start negotiating with the Israelis. Because if they would have accepted the Israelis' plan in 2000, when Barak offered them a plan that was irrefusable, if they would have accepted that plan, they would have had 97% of the territories right now. Gaza would be 100% under Palestinian leadership. And they even turned that down. Yasser Arafat does not want peace with the Israelis. And it's time the Palestinians kick him out, choose a new leader. And it's the duty of all Palestinians. I urge all Palestinians worldwide. There are Palestinians who are educated, that live in England, that live in Australia. It needs to come as a worldwide movement to kick the leadership out from the Palestinian territories and start negotiating with Israel if they want peace.
How would you describe how the Palestinians are using the Europeans and the West to further their own goals?
The Palestinians learned to manipulate the media. They know how to play the West like a violin. We in the United States, because we have no point of reference to positioning, for example, leaders, military leaders, and cannons amongst civilians in a war state. So when the Israelis, for example, are going after Hamas leaders, those Hamas leaders are changing position every night and every other night, and they are hiding among Palestinian civilians. They are basically killing their own people. But when you watch the news at night and you realize that when Israel kills a Hamas leader, other 14 people are dead, some of them are children, the West thinks, oh my gosh, Israel is doing a horrible thing here. They're killing the children. They need to realize that these leaders are hiding amongst these children. That's what's killing their own people. The West does not understand how the Middle East think, which is shocking to me when they go invest so much time and energy understanding, for example, how to do business with the Japanese. They learn Japanese culture. They learn this is the effective way to deal with Japan, and you learn these customs. And here we are in a state of war. We are fighting a holy war that's been declared on Jews and Christians worldwide. Yet in this country, we are burying our head in the sand in the United States. And you have organizations such as Duke universities, which are supposed to be an intellectual place where people come to learn and be tolerant about each other and learn about different cultures and different ideas. Yet a university like Duke would allow a hate fest, basically, where people can stand up there and spew hate towards the Jews and say, oh, the Jews need to be killed. We feel sorry for the Jews. How can we allow such talk? If I, as an American citizen, get on television or organize a rally at a university campus and say, all gays need to be killed because all gays are terrible and we need to annihilate them, would I survive a day? I'll be thrown in prison. I will be sued. How come we have such double standards towards issues? How come we allow the Palestinians to say, we do not want to condemn violence because it's irrelevant. It's not going to do anything. How can we accept that? You're looking at hundreds of Muhammad Attas in the making who believe in suicide bombing, who believe in terrorism, who basically in a way are supporting terrorism indirectly. Because when you refuse to condemn the suicide bombers and terrorism and violence, your hands are soiled with the blood of the innocents just as much as any suicide bomber who blows himself up. The innocent's blood is on your hand. And this is what people need to realize. These conventions are nothing but a hate fest towards the Jews. Simple. And not only the Jews, also towards America. And we need to wake up.
As an American, why do you think the Middle East is an important matter for all Americans?
The Middle East should be the utmost important matter to all Americans at this point, especially after 9/11. For the last 20 years, Americans have not paid attention to what's been going on around the world. The terrorist attacks around the world, all the terrorist organizations that we're dealing with today, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Islamic Jihad. Where do you think Islamic Jihad came from? Where do you think Hamas came from? To focus only on Al-Qaeda is a fatal error. Al-Qaeda is a transnational organization made up of a merging of different groups together under Al-Qaeda. We have proved that Hamas and Islamic Jihad and Hezbollah have established linkages with Al-Qaeda in the United States. And of all terrorist organizations in the United States, Hamas has the largest American infrastructure. Hamas is not an Israeli problem. Hamas is a United States problem. Hamas is a world problem. What people in American society need to understand that Hamas and its leaders, the leader that Israel killed, Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, is the guy who wrote the Hamas Charter. If Americans would read the Hamas Charter, Article 22 of the Hamas Charter mentions the Lions Club as a terrorist organization to be destroyed, as secret organizations to be destroyed. The Lions Clubs, the Rotary Clubs, the Freemasons, the Bnei B'rith and the likes, such as the Kiwanis. How many Lion Club members in the United States know they are mentioned in the Hamas Charter? If Americans think Hamas is over there, it's Israel's problem, that's all in the Middle East, let's leave them all behind and focus on the United States, they are mistaken. Hamas has chapters in 40 states in the United States. And that's what America needs to wake up and start learning about.
Since you've become active speaking out about Israel, what do you think about Jewish opinions towards the Palestinian situation?
This is a great question. It saddens me to see the difference between the Jews and the way they handle the Palestinian situation and the Palestinians and how they handle speeches about the Israelis and the Jews. When I was asked to speak at Duke, I was instructed by Hillel, which is the organization that sponsored my speaking, to respect the Palestinians, don't say bad things about the Palestinians, don't say anything derogatory about the Palestinians nor the Muslims, nor their hate teachings, don't point the finger at anyone, just speak about terrorism in general, because we want to create awareness. They actually even have a concert to keep the mood light. And you contrast that with the Palestinians on campus, who are basically on the other side of the campus, spewing hate. The hatred that comes across in their speeches is absolutely unacceptable. And the sad reality is that this is the same type of signs that we started seeing before World War II. It's the sign of hate verbiage that Hitler used to say about the Jews before World War II, before he started killing them. And the Jews did not believe it back then. And they always hoped for the best. And now, as a third party, I look at the two of them from a distance, and I see the same thing is happening again. The Palestinian solidarity movement at Duke, at the convention, refused to condemn violence, refused to condemn suicide bombers.
Brigitte, how can people contact you and your organization? And what can the average person do to stop evil from proliferating?
People can contact me through American Congress for Truth. The web address is americancongressfortruth.com, or they can call at 756